This is one of the best fake watches we've ever seen. A 41mm Rolex Submariner no date, reference 124060. It was donated to us by a client who initially brought it in for an authentication only to discover that he had been scammed. With the replica on the left and the real watch on the right, see how many differences you can spot. Was that too quick for you? Don't worry, we'll be zooming into these sections later with the microscope. But first, let's run both watches through some basic tests. How accurate do you think the fake Submariner is relative to the real one? The results show that on average, the authentic Rolex Submariner is 93% more accurate than the super clone. Let's dive into the intricacies of the real and fake Submariners using our Leica Investa 3 stereo microscope. We'll do a side-by-side comparison by examining the various parts of the watches closely. First, let's zoom into the Rolex crown logo on the dials and compare them. Under 55x magnification, we notice that there are microscopic dots scattered around the edges of the crown on the real watch. This is not visible to the naked eye, and it has to do with the process that Rolex uses to paint their dials. Conversely, the edges of the crown on the super clone are sharper and more defined. Under 20x magnification, we can see that the bezel surrounding the pearl on the real sub is thicker than that of the replica. The pearl on the super clone protrudes from the bezel, allowing you to see the full dome over the edge. In contrast, the genuine pearl is set deeper, offering enhanced protection from damage. Examining the real Submariner under 30x magnification reveals overspray similar to what we observed with the Rolex crown. Additionally, the lettering on the genuine Rolex appears bolder and more pronounced. Now, this is a dead giveaway and is something that we always look for during authentication. Observing the authentic watch's hands, you'll see they have a cone-like base, tapering smoothly upwards with a deeper, more angled recess. In contrast, the replica features a base resembling a donut or ring. Examining the etched Rolex crown on the crystal reveals that both watches feature this detail, appearing nearly identical. Contrary to popular belief, the presence of the etched crown isn't a reliable method to distinguish genuine from fake. In fact, nearly all counterfeits we've encountered also include this etching. Zooming into the ceramic bezel, the texture of the numbers on the super clone is noticeably rougher compared to the genuine watch. Additionally, by tracing the outline of the number 20, it's clear that the genuine Submariner features sharper, more precisely cut edges, unlike the irregular edges found on the fake. At first glance, the divot under the Rolex crown looks sharper and cleaner, owing to its recent acquisition about a month prior. The real sub, on the other hand, was purchased pre-owned and had already been detailed, thus showing more wear. When we zoom on the crown, you'll notice that the oval is a lot cleaner and more defined on the real watch. The valleys of the crown on the fake are also less refined, and the metal is not as nicely finished. But take a look at this. This next part is a highlight of our comparison between genuine and counterfeit watches. It's a subtle giveaway, requiring keen observation. Focus closely as we zoom into the engravings. The R on the replica comprises 2 rows of dots, in contrast to the single row on the genuine piece. This difference stems from the laser technology used in the engraving process. Zooming into the clasp's latch welding reveals a significant difference in finish. The super clone shows signs of overheating at the joint, whereas the joint on the genuine Rolex is so impeccably polished and shiny that it challenged our camera's focus. Comparing the case reference numbers reveals only minor differences, if any. In this aspect, the real and fake watches are remarkably similar. Examining the case backs, we see distinct differences. The replica's letters appear stamped, whereas the genuine Rolex's letters look engraved, offering a more refined appearance. Additionally, the finish on the authentic case is smoother, in contrast to the super clone's slightly more porous texture. Now let's get into the movement. Here is where you see the big differences. Right off the bat, we notice that the super clone is missing the blue parachrome hairspring, one of Rolex's signature characteristics. Also, you can see the difference in finishing on the bridge that holds the balance wheel. While the replica has deeper grooves and texture, the Rolex is more uniform. This finish is consistent throughout every piece of the movement. Even though the fake watch is supposed to be about a month old, we really don't know if it was previously opened or serviced. However, internal scratches and dirty parts are quite the norm when it comes to replica watches due to the lack of quality control associated with the assembly. Now, as we take a look at the center bearing on the fake Rolex, we notice that it has 7 bearings with brass spacers. The authentic Rolex, on the other hand, is loaded with bearings all around. This difference is not a factor to determine if a watch is real or fake, because earlier versions of the 32 series movement also featured a 7-bearing system, which was silently upgraded by Rolex between 2018 and 2022. Notice the craftsmanship, greater attention to detail, and superior polishing in the authentic Rolex movement. At this point in our video, we were planning to take both movements apart and do a piece-by-piece comparison before servicing both watches and putting them back together. Unfortunately, we realized one little thing. Our no-date replica had a 3235 date movement instead of the 3230 that is supposed to come with the no-date sub. In total disappointment, there was only one thing left for us to do. If you have a replica watch that you would like to sacrifice for educational purposes, please make sure to contact us.